I'm glad Pastor Paul mentioned that he does occasionally mess up, because he kind of did with me. He didn't tell me how long I had to talk. If I'm to tell you why this church is important to me and membership is important to me, you need to know a little about me. And since I'm 70, that's a long story. But since I'm 70, I made myself some notes so I don't ramble. Because especially if I start talking about the miracles I've seen, we could be here well into the afternoon. Why is it important here? A picture is worth 1,000 words. There it is right there. This is a place that I can serve. This is a place that I can share. Like most people, I'm sure, I started going to church as a spectator. But once I started getting involved in things, I'm from a Navy family, you don't volunteer for anything, but once I made that mistake and started getting involved in things, I realized how really lame church is as a spectator sport, at least for me. It's a participant sport. It's much more meaningful and much more fun. Music, of course, working with youth club, teaching Sunday school, and I've led 4 mission trips, 4 youth mission trips. And I have seen miracles, many of them. I should write a book. But it changes your life. You can't anymore. It almost feels a little weak to call it faith. I've seen so much, it's not faith, it's belief. I know for certain. And I served for many years at a church from a different denomination, and the denomination and that church kind of lost their bearings, and I stayed serving nearly till the end. The denomination tore itself apart, the church closed, which was a great loss to the neighborhood. We had a wonderful outreach, we were a beacon to that neighborhood. But during that time, I discovered Methodism. I had begun going to a Bible study at a Methodist church, because I was going to it. They studied the Bible. And actually discovered that I'd probably always been a Methodist. My beliefs aligned very much more with theirs than the church I was going to. When just, there's nothing with that church, but I left. I had driven past this church for years. My boys practically grew up out at Lake Elmo Park Reserve. And actually the music director that I'd worked with, and she became church secretary and was the piano player for our worship team, had been raised as a Wesleyan. And of course I knew something about Wesleyan Methodists. But frankly, what I'd heard had a lot to do with the do's with the don'ts. And she did a lot of the don'ts. She wore high heels and she wore makeup. All those evil things. And I had actually started as a young Christian. I didn't become a Christian until my late teens with a different denomination which basically defined Christians by what you didn't do. And it was a fairly long and extensive list. I won't go into it here, but if you look at me, if you look at how I get around, you might guess that I probably don't do well with a whole list of arbitrary don'ts. Then the church that I served for a long time, well, they had it the other way around. They had a whole list of things Christians do. And frankly, folks, that does not work much better. What Christianity is about is a relationship with Jesus. The Spirit will tell you what you should be doing. The Spirit will tell you what you shouldn't be doing. It's good enough for me. Anyway, I was fascinated by Wesleyan Methodists, but the Wesley brothers were I thought, much better than some of the other church leaders I learned about and been following. So I gave it a try, and several coffees with Pastor Paul, and realizing where the Wesleyan Methodist Church was now as opposed to where it had been. Donna McMoon was her maiden name. I know she knows you. And she'd come here when they first moved up here. This church isn't about that anymore. I don't hear one hint of that here. And I realized through talking with Pastor Paul that this was a place where I could fit in. First thing I came in, I'm comfortable with the people, and I agree with your beliefs wholeheartedly. But like I say, most importantly, I saw that this was a place that I could serve, which is what I need to do. What sealed the deal, and I went up to Pastor Paul after the service with tears still kind of streaming down my face, was been going here several weeks, and you sang Nothing But the Blood, and you sang a song that had White as Snow in it. And I won't go into the whole story now, but I have been enjoined from using Nothing But the Blood and discouraged from White as Snow. Might offend people who aren't white. Well, I'm Cameroonian, part of my heart. We have a huge Cameroonian community. I have Cameroonian girls who call me Uncle Paul, and their mother is my sister. So, and they loved the song that we did, White as Snow. It was one of their favorites. Anyway, you did both of them in one service, and I knew this was the place. This is the place where God could use me. God could use all of my music, not some sanitized, politically correct, don't want the anybody. You know, Jesus offended people, they got him killed. I say this all the time, and pardon me, but he came to offend the hell out of people, literally. So basically that's it. I knew this was the place, and I'm loving it here. I'm so thankful for all of you and for the fact that I get to share music with you.